How's the Wolfpack doing today? Today I'm going to try to do the impossible and try to teach you guys in less than 5 minutes the defense that I have used to place in the top 100 in Weekend League multiple times, and a similar defense to what Dez used to win Madden Ball. Let's get into it. And it comes as no surprise as today I'll be teaching you Dollar, specifically DB Fire 2 Dollar. But why is Dollar so good? Well, first, it has the most consistent heat in the game. There's actually 2 different blitzes. I'll be covering both of them in this video. One of them is very widely known. The second one a little bit lesser known, and honestly EA attempted to patch it in the last title update but failed to do so. More on that to come. The second reason why Dollar is so much more effective this year than in previous years is the absence of Weakbox. Now, Weakbox was EA's attempt to balance the game. Basically, if the offense came out in a 2 tight end or 2 running back formation, and you came out in either a dollar, dime, or quarters type defense, the defensive line would immediately become pancaked by the O-line, and the safeties would run at like half speed. Now, before we even call play, there's some housekeeping items to take care of. First, I want to go over my lineup and abilities for running this defense. The 4 corners of this defense are the most important. You'll want deep out zone KO on your safeties, and flat zone KO on your CBs, because that's the most common zone that they'll be in. However, I also like to run deep out zone KO on my corners as well, in case you ever want to run cover 4 or roll your coverage like a cover 3 clout. I also like to run mid zone KO on my sub linebacker. That is a pretty key position in this defense, and I highly recommend a mid-zone KO. Next, we'll go over the coaching adjustments in-game. I like to have auto flip off. Dollar is asymmetrical formation, so auto flip doesn't really help us here. It usually helps more in nickel sets where you have a slot cornerback to help that slot DB be on the correct side, the strong side of the formation, but Dollar symmetrical, so we'll leave that off just for consistency purposes. I like my alignment to be on base. As discussed earlier, that's pretty important for getting one of the 2 blitzes in. So we'll keep everything looking the same and go ahead with base. And lastly, I like to turn match on. Now, this is unique because most people that run Dollar will touch match, but it actually, DB Fire 2 is a match style defense. Your soft squats can match, your vert hook can also match. So turning match on will help us with some of the match logic in this game, which is actually pretty good. And lastly, so one of the secrets I was telling you about is the package that we're going to use for Dollar. So go ahead and put in your subs. So essentially what you want to do here is sub out your starters and sub in your starters, so that will lock them in place essentially. So get your lineup screen looking how you want it. Now, it is a little bit frustrating at first getting it right, but after you practice a few times, and I suggest either going to practice mode or solo challenges or somewhere where it's a stress-free environment, and just get reps putting in your substitutions. And then once they're in and you have them the way that you like it, switch over to the safety package. The safeties package will allow you to get big nickel over G or 3 safety type adjustments, which allows you to put your safeties in outside thirds, which is a fantastic adjustment for a meta that's predicated on corner route. All right, now that we have the pre-snap before we take the field adjustments taken care of, let's get into how to generate pressure, which is the main reason why we're in this defense. As mentioned before, the base aligned press setup is really easy and really effective. I like to pinch my line and crash out. Now, the crashing out is really important. See, most people think that if you pinch your line, it hurts the blitz. And that is true if you don't crash your D-line out. But if you pinch your line, crash out, and you'll see in a lot of these clips, you will generate a ton of pressure. The second blitz, and this is the one that EA attempted to patch in the last title update, is a loop style blitz. And what you'll do for that is you'll go ahead and spread your line and contain, and then you'll drag one of your slot CBs. I prefer the one on the left because I keep it the same every time, and drag him towards the defensive end until he's in the contain. And voila, he will get picked up by the offensive tackle, and your DN will actually come screaming around the edge untouched. Now, there's a couple of things that the opponent can do to nullify this blitz. For instance, play action can hurt it if it's a compressed set and the tight end or wide receiver bumps this slot corner. It can mess up the blitz. But it's really effective, and you're only sending 4, so it's highly, I mean, you have good coverage even if it doesn't come in, but it's absolutely the fastest blitz in the game, and it really does well against things like bunch and tight, which makes it a huge asset to this defense.